The mainstream right is under attack, and it's supposedly from its own base, its own followers, its own representatives. I said I wanted unity on the right, and some conservatives have responded by relentlessly attacking me for like 4 days straight. Some of them have been posting about it dozens of times a day, every day. I've made the exact same call to unity many times in the past, without anything close to this kind of blowback. Very strange. But anyway, I stand by everything I've said. I take back none of it. Have a great weekend, everyone. King. A real king for that. So there's a bit of an internal squabble happening right now in mainstream conservatism. And that is especially true at the Daily Wire.
Again, I'm not even disagreeing with the motivations of the Politico story. In fact, even on my show today, I talked about the motivations of the Politico story, which, Matt, I agree, are completely scurrilous and designed to distract from the sort of violent rhetoric we've seen from the left. But it has led to, I think, a reactionary response on some parts of the right to say there should be no policing ever at all. No social consequences should ever attend to things that are said on the...
Ben is just sitting here scolding him like, Matt, we can't unify with these people. They're evil. They're vindictive. I despise them.
Right, that it's basically just pure my side versus your side. The problem I have is, number one, I think that's immoral, and number two, I don't think that's pragmatic.
It's immoral and it's pragmatic. Listen to me, the intellectual here.
I think that's moral because I think that there are things that get said on the right that are really, really, really ugly, and pretending those away doesn't make them go away. I think that they're rising. I think that they're getting more common. I know that my death threats from that side are getting more common. I know I have more security because of that, and it's not just from the left. I have lots of...
Oh, come on here. Come on. Can you tell me the last time a radical right-winger did a political assassination? I sure as hell can't.
Security from the left, and I also get lots of security from the right. Matt, I think a little bit earlier today you tweeted that kind of your litmus test is the people who are trying to kill you, and I totally get that. I also...
Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable litmus test right there. You know, who's trying to kill me? Who's trying to shut me down?
Have that litmus test. The difference is that I think that if somebody tries to kill you, Matt, there's a good shot that it's going to be a leftist. If somebody tries to kill me, it's a freaking Agatha Christie novel. I just don't know which direction the bullet is coming from at this point, given the sort of very...
I'm so scared. The right's so scary. They say mean things about me.
Various and sundry radical extremes that exist. I'm not going to say that the right is equivalent to the left in this respect, because I don't think it's been mainstreamed to nearly the same effect on the right that it has been on the left. But to pretend that it has not infiltrated a lot of very important...
Look at that. Matt's just like, I could give two shits less about this complaint. You're sitting here trying to scold me, play my daddy, tell me how to think and what I'm supposed to say on my own show. Fuck you, Ben. Fuck you.
I think is sort of whistling past the graveyard.
Again,
I'm not even disagreeing.
Yeah, it's infiltrating. They're gonna poison our holy well here. If we let in these people on the right, we're gonna be destroyed from within. Oh no. Well, if you could look from Matt's face there, he really doesn't give a shit. And he disagrees with Ben wholeheartedly. And he continued on his call for unity. This is an explicit encouragement of violence against federal agents, which is a felony punishable by 5 years in prison. He should be arrested and charged today. We can't keep allowing these scumbags to get away with this. And that's right, Don Lemon here. Don Lemon made some absolutely ridiculous claims and statements, which are very common these days from the left, which is why Matt is calling for unity, but Ben and others seem to not care for that.
Black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are.
My people of color.
In your place where you live and get a gun legally. Get a license to carry legally. Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for?
Go! Get a gun and shoot those bastards for arresting you. If you're legal and you're a legal citizen, get a rifle, get a shotgun, and blow those motherfuckers away.
I can read what the Second Amendment says. And perhaps knock some sense in the heads of these people who are saying,
knock some bullets in their heads. Blow them the fuck out.
well, it's all great. I don't believe they're doing it without due process. They're asking people for papers. They're not really beating people up. These people are doing things that are illegal. Nobody is illegal. It is a myth.
Nobody's illegal. So even the illegals, go get a gun and start killing these ICE officers for us. We need you to be our militant force on the ground, challenging the right with violence. Yeah. Well, we gotta police their own side, guys. Here's a famous man who's on the news all the time, Don Lemon, calling for this. Like, for real here, man. For real. How much more ridiculous does it need to get? So, this internal struggle and infighting at the Daily Wire didn't happen because of all of the things happening out on Daily Wire land and their streams and stuff. No, it was initiated by the internet clowns who consume the content from the Daily Wire, making a big stink about it. And the person we are going to discuss today that's making a big stink about Matt's call for unity is a man who goes by Mikale Olson.
Let's talk about this. Can you be unified amongst disagreements? Depends, right? It just begs the question, what is the disagreement that we're allegedly supposed to be unified over? It's pretty simple, right? I don't think you can be unified amongst every disagreement. I think there's secondary things and there's first degree things. We understand this in terms of church, right?
Okay.
If you're a Christian, you understand this.
He's a Christian.
You can have tertiary or secondary disagreements amongst the body of Christ, amongst fellow people in your own congregation, amongst other denominations.
He's a Protestant.
Still remain in fellowship with. You can still remain unified as a cohesive front, as the body of Christ in the mission of the gospel.
Principled
so if you
man.
disagree on, like, is the church Israel? Does the church replace Israel? If you disagree on, some eschatological point about pre-mill or post-mill or...
I mean, what is Israel is definitely a very controversial topic that I don't know if you can really, not butt heads with people when they have it different than you.
Pre-trib or post-trib or whatever it is, or if
Usually
you
it's the
disagree with,
church.
at what point in time should someone be baptized? These are things that you can have healthy dialogue about and debate about and disagreement over, but you can still remain totally and 100% unified as the body of Christ, as Christians, even in the same congregation. And I think you should be, right? I think we understand that.
Okay.
I think the same thing applies politically.
Okay, here we go.
You can have a whole bunch of disagreements as a political party or a political movement and still remain unified. You can disagree on certain social or political policy in as long as it doesn't contradict your first principles. You can disagree on
Just don't contradict the first principles. The first principles are the things that matter the most. Okay.
Politics, as long as it doesn't contradict your first principles, right? But as soon as, just like the theological point, as soon as you start contradicting and going at odds with, or if not throwing out entirely, first principles, well, you can no longer remain unified.
Okay, so this is the standard he set for this video. This is his main argument, that he's saying Matt Walsh here is contradicting the first principles of being a conservative, and that's why it's problematic what he's doing.
And so this is something I think we have to be really, really, really specific about as people on the right, as conservatives, defining what are those first principles.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to be a conservative? What does it mean to be a Republican? These are things...
I mean, I think to be a Republican, you just put your name on a list and say, I'm a Republican. That's about it. There's no expectations or beliefs you have to hold. You can just, any bum can sign up to be a quote-unquote conservative Republican.
That we've kind of abandoned in the wake of the whole MAGA coalition. It's become a...
Oh, it's MAGA's fault. It's always MAGA's fault. Those MAGA boomers breaking those first principles. I hope this Mikale here doesn't contradict himself and break his own first principles.
We're the top populist movement to where we've forgotten what our identity actually is as conservatives.
Oh,
we've let anyone and everyone in the door, And now there's a whole bunch of people that have a whole bunch of widely different beliefs and a whole bunch of really important things, and nobody can seem to define what it actually means to be part of this movement. It's just all about the left versus...
I mean, to be part of the movement, the mega movement, is to support Donald Trump. That's the standard, okay? There, bud?
the right. What does that mean? What does that mean? Because the lines are incredibly blurred at this point. There's people over on the right now that are like pro-choice, they're pro-abortion, they're pro-gay marriage, they're pro some of the trans stuff.
Huge problem.
Pro-socialist policy.
I like how he turns there and has to read his script. What was the fourth thing? Socialist policy? You know, the first things were like very clearly obvious, simple liberal things like abortion, transgenderism, homosexuality. And he's just like, the social policies. Oh, God forbid that we expect the government to do something more besides just taxing us and creating legal bloat. You know, God forbid that the U.S. does something for once, rather than, like, in here in Minnesota, where there's, like, estimated to be about $2 billion worth of fraud from Walsh alone. Oh, no! God forbid those socialist policies. We need the government to take over money and hand it to NGOs, hand it to corporations, hand it to all of these institutions that are just gonna launder it and smuggle it to Somalia. Yes. That's what we need to protect. Those conservative values that don't include having a government that actually works for us. So, Mikale here had a bit of a clip there that I don't care for covering, and he's just clipping other people complaining about stuff. And we're gonna go to the end of that clip here and see what he has to next complain about.
We want the system burned down.
People like even Marjorie Taylor Greene arguing for mass amnesty for illegal aliens now.
The irony here, he's just like, those socialist policies, those social policies, and then he comes in complaining by the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene was influenced by her constituents who financed her and her campaign to pass policy that's in their favor. You know, it's just like, come on, man, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't be like, socialist policies, and then complain about capitalism and democracy. And, well, representative democracy? Like, come on here. What?
What are we doing?
What are you doing?
I could give you a whole bunch of different examples. People on the woke right arguing for...
The woke right. Wah. Yep. He's one of those characters. He subscribes to the philosophy of James Lindsay and woke rightedness.
American Franco, in other words, a fascist dictatorship. People like Jack Posobiec.
Okay, come on here. You do realize how long Jack Posobiec has been on the internet? It's not really shocking hearing him call for his own little Franco when he was here on the early days on the internet, where it was a little bit more of an echo chamber and a bit more radical.
Outwardly saying that. People like Tucker Carlson carrying water for Hamas, saying they're not a terrorist organization, saying that Sharia law isn't that bad, saying that it's preferable to what we have here in the United States. Crazy stuff like that.
Wait. I honestly don't think Tucker Carlson would say something as insane as Sharia law is a better system than what we have here now. I think you're lying. I think you're spreading a little bit of a fib and mischaracterizing him a bit.
Is bad, Seth. I don't know if you've heard that.
It's bad. It's bad. So he doesn't like Marjorie Taylor Greene. He doesn't like Tucker Carlson. Super radical right wing. The man who's been on Fox News for years upon years. But he had a little bit of a change of thought and opinion on things. So now he's an extremist and absurd.
Saying that feudalism is a better system than what we have here. Just outwardly saying that.
I mean, I do really prefer the feudal model, which is the ancient, it's the model of all time, where, you know, when the Normans invaded England in 1066, and we know from the Bayeux Tapestry, who got killed in the Battle of Hastings? King Harold. The king Right. The English king was killed in the first battle.
Is this supposed to make Tucker look bad? For real here, he's talking positive about white Western civilization and the things they've done. Are we supposed to look back at feudalism and kings, knights, and early Europe and be like, oh, that was a really bad and wicked time. Those are really bad things. We're better now. We're greater. We're much more advanced and developed than the people back then. They were scum. They were trash. They were a bunch of barbarians and savages. No.
Why? Because he was leading his troops. He got shot in the eye with an arrow. So if you have that, in a structure like that, a society like that,
So you have sleazy gay people in Congress?
Exactly. I mean, I don't think that, and I don't know who you're talking about, but I don't think Lindsey Graham is like troops in battle. I just don't.
I mean, feudalism is so much better than what we have now because at least in feudalism, the leader is vested in the prosperity of the people he rules.
Right.
And that's a true statement. That's a true statement. He actually has a reason for things to go well because the people are expecting him to do that. And he's responsible for that for many, many years. And when they don't do that, they face serious consequences from the public revolting against them.
In the open, on his podcast.
Oh, it's so bad. He said positive things about West and our history. No. We can't have that. We have to disavow colonialism. We have to disavow segregation. We have to disavow the Confederacy and everything we've ever done as the West because it's mean and racist. Just look at his brown little beady eyes. He's just like, come on, guys. You have to disavow your history. This land was stolen. It was stolen, not conquered. You guys are trashy-ass, filthy, redneck white people.
What are we doing?
What are you doing?
Is that in cohesion with first principles as far as what it means to be a constitutional conservative, a Republican in the United States? Or is that at odds with the first principles that we say we claim?
Okay, so that's one of his first principles that he's going to lay out for us. The Constitution.
And I think a lot of people are falling for a lot of this anti-conservative stuff from the right and anti-constitutional stuff from the right because we've forgotten what it even means to be a conservative in the first place. We've forgotten our principles. And how are we to conserve any principles if we don't even know what those principles are?
I have a better question for you, because that's a true statement. But how are you supposed to conserve the Constitution, which is a living document that is constantly being amended and reinterpreted by different people to serve their political agendas? For real here. But the Constitution is my first principle. The ever-changing document that's reinterpreted. Brilliant.
You know what I mean? And so let's fast forward to the crux of this video speaking about Matt Walsh.
Yep.
I've made a video talking about some of the stuff already, so I apologize if this is somewhat repetitive. But I think this needs to be reiterated because this conversation continues to happen. And the misunderstanding continues to happen. And the gaslighting continues to happen. And the personal attacks from Matt Walsh against me and others continue to happen.
It's really Feezer tier. I'm not gonna lie. He's complaining about trolls and people attacking him, and then the gaslighting.
He was going at me all day on Twitter.
Oh, he's going after me.
Over what I'm about to tell you here. And so Matt Walsh, ever since the Charlie Kirk incident, has been calling for unity on the right. We need to be unified. We need unity against the left in order to defeat the left. Stop critiquing anyone on the right. He's been quoting Carl Schmitt. If you guys don't know who that is, Google him. Infamous Nazi philosopher, friend, enemy distinction guy. He's been quoting him, calling for unity, openly calling for political tribalism. And not just political tribalism in like the MAGA coalition kind of way, but political which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of that.
Oh, he hates the MAGA. He's calling out the MAGA again. He's like, MAGA's bad. You can't trust it. Trump's bad. Really weird. Saying he claims to have voted for Trump 3 times.
For the reasons I just explained before. But political tribalism to the degree where we're no longer going to hold our own side accountable for anything. where you're a traitor, essentially, if you critique anyone on the right. If you publicly critique or rebuke anything or anyone on the right wing of the political spectrum, as we understand it here in the...
He's complaining about traitors. You're treacherous. You're a traitor. Oh, the Keto Casino betrayed me. Trust me, guys. Gabe Hoffman's pulling all the strings. It really is no different from Feezer. Like, come on here, man. Look at it. Just look at his room there. It's good. Does that look like a second floor? Does that look like he's upstairs? That looks like something you would have in a basement, in a ceiling, you know, dipping down on you there. And what, you got some Christmas lights hanging up there, half put up? He's just living in his fucking parents' basement. He's complaining about people saying mean things about him online. He's complaining about the gaslighting. And he's also bald! He's bald! He's Feezer-tiered.
United States, then you're a problem. Then you're divisive, then you're breaking unity, then you're the reason why we are not going to be successful in defeating the left. This is what Matt Walsh is saying.
Yep.
He's been repeating this over and over and over again. And to give the devil
Matt
his due, I'm not calling Matt Walsh the devil. It's a turn of phrase.
Calling him the devil.
To give the devil his due, there's a part, and with every lie, there's truth, right? And let me give the devil his due here and tell you the truthful part of what he's saying. Is he right that a lot of people on the right have unnecessarily squabbled and fought over and divided over things that we shouldn't divide over?
Yeah. Just tell you the truth there. You're doing that right now. You're squabbling with a bunch of people on the right over something that you really shouldn't be squabbling about. It just makes no sense. It's not productive. You're coming in here saying Matt's call for unity is breaking the first principles of conservatism, that we don't work with people who are more conservative than us. That's your complaint. Your complaint is Matt Walsh called for unity on the right, but those are people that we should not unify with because they're bad, according to our first principle that they're bad. Great argument. Excellent work done there. Mikale.
Politically speaking, we've just divided over a bunch of things, ironically, which it's ironic because of this whole MAGA coalition where we've let anything and everyone in, but we've also had a problem, historically speaking at least, where we've divided over things that are unnecessary, and it's lost us elections and it's lost us different things, politically speaking. And he's right to say that that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because the left...
Just calling him right.
They seem to remain, oddly enough, united, as one united front against the right. They don't have principles, and I think the reason why they remain one united front, or at least it appears that way, is precisely because of that, because they don't actually have principles. Because their only principle is defeating the right, and so they'll all unite together.
Their only principle. You say they don't have principles, and then you're like, their only principle is that the right are a bunch of KKK, Nazi, fascist scum, and they need to be defeated, thrown in prison, their children taken from them, and their wives raped. Yes, that's the one principle that the left has, and kind of a big issue, bro. It's kind of a problem when everybody on the left thinks everybody on the right are a bunch of Nazi fascist scum that need to be assassinated.
But the right has had a bit more of a challenge with that. Why? Because we actually are people of principle, generally speaking, historically speaking. And I think many of us, even today, we're okay challenging our own team.
Mm-hmm.
We're okay standing up against the grain. We're okay kind of not just linking arms with anyone and anything for the sake of political victory. Because what matters most to us is the truth.
Okay.
At least this is what should matter most to us as conservatives, as I've mentioned in previous videos. What matters most to us is sticking to our first principles, regardless of the outcomes, which is exactly what it means to be principled in the first.
Okay, so he added 2 more principles to his list of being a conservative. And one of them is seeking the truth. And the second one is the principle to follow your first principles. Really genius stuff coming from Mikale here. I know. So, we got our 4. We got our 4 on the list here. That we are constitutionalists, that we don't work with racist-ass KKK Nazis on the right, that we are truth seekers, and that our first principle is to follow our first principles.
To the things you believe to be absolutely and objectively true, no matter the outcome. That's what it means to be principled, and ultimately that's what it means to be a conservative, which is why I think we need to get back to actually...
See, okay, so he doubled down on that claim that to be a conservative is to seek the truth and to follow your first principles. Nice. I wasn't killing the lily. I wasn't lying. He literally said it twice.
Finding what those principles are. Does this make sense? And so Matt Walsh is right to say that we've had an issue with that over secondary unnecessary things. He's also right to say that the left is a huge problem. They've had institutional power from government to education to media to entertainment.
Literally all of society and civilization as a whole. Yeah, it's kind of a big problem, dude. That every facet of society is controlled by liberalists in some way or form.
To healthcare, you go down the list. He's right to say that's a huge festering problem. And he's also right to say that the left has had unbelievably unnecessary violent rhetoric against conservatives at large.
Especially recently. Especially this year alone. It's gone way nuttier. Everyone's response to Charlie Kirk has been abysmal and disgusting.
From CNN to New York Times to MSNBC, calling us fascists and Nazis and a threat to democracy itself.
Okay, so here's his standard here. This is something that irks him, hurts him, makes him feel a little bit bad. That he's being called a Nazi, fascist, KKK Klansman. And that if you are that, you are a threat to democracy. So people who are called that are threats to democracy.
Excusing the murder of Charlie Kirk, saying, oh, he had it coming because he's a conservative. From mainstream institutions on the left that are owned by the left. He's right to note that he's under duress and he feels like he's under threat. Physical threat, violent threat from the left. Because they've been calling for his death just like Charlie Kirk in response. Saying, you're next, Matt Walsh, you're next, Ben Shapiro, you're next, Steven Crowder, whoever it is. And so he's right to feel worried about that. He's right to feel...
It's kind of problematic, kind of freaky, having all these people calling for your death while they just executed your good close friend that you met online. And that's the crazy thing about Charlie Kirk's death. I'm pretty sure he was the first e-celebrity political activist to ever be assassinated.
Emotional and angry about that. He's right to worry about his family's safety. I'm with him there, lest anyone twists what I'm saying. And a lot of people on Twitter have twisted what I'm saying.
The Twitter trolls are twisting and making up lies about me. I didn't say like that. They're being mean. It's really Feezer tier.
I'm with Matt there. I'm with him in everything he's saying about the left.
Wait, but are you? Are you with him with everything that he's been saying about the left? That doesn't make any sense, because you're not. Matt said that the left is so incredibly bad, so unrelatable, that we need to unite the right. But you don't agree with that. You're saying that the left isn't that bad, Matt. We really can't work with the radical right, because they're just not that bad, compared to the evil Nazi fascist scum. So... you don't agree with him with everything he's saying about the left. Because he's saying they're so bad that we need unity, and you say nay. Which is crazy, man. It's really wild that he comes in there saying that I don't agree with you with uniting with the right because the left is so bad, but I do agree with you on everything about the left. No, you're just a liar. Either you're an idiot or you're just a dumbass. One of the two. I'll let you guys make the decision for that one, but I think he's just a fucking moron.
Him on is to ignore the festering problems that mirror exactly what the left is, that is becoming increasingly popular on the right.
Oh no.
If we don't address that, To quote Jordan Peterson, if we...
He went from complaining about, oh my gosh, guys, if we let in the woke right, we're gonna become just like the woke left. Now, here's my Jordan Peterson quote. Here's my Daddy Peterson coming in to save the day.
Clean up our own room.
And it's the one you'd expect. The one everybody knows. Even people who've never watched him before. Clean your room, bucko. And that's the wild thing here. He's like, we need to get rid of all these liberalists and these woke writers on the right because they're going to turn us into the left, while referencing Jordan B. Peterson, a liberal from Canada who worked as a philosophy professor there. Yeah. We should listen to the atheist about what it means to be a right-wing conservative Christian. I got a quote for you too here, Mikale. I got a little quote for you also. And it's to love your enemies, which you seem to not love because you think everyone to the right of you is a fucking Nazi and a racist.
Were we expected to have any unity, actual unity, to be a united front so that we are capable of even fighting the left in the first place? If we're letting in pro-choice and pro-gay marriage and, pro-neo-fascist people and people on the right that are just openly praising Adolf Hitler at this point, and people that are calling for an American Caesar.
He's just like listing a list of random things that aren't related to each other in whatever way possible and saying they're all the same. There's just a list of things that you don't like. You don't like gay marriage. You don't like abortion. You don't like people calling for Caesar or saying nice things about Uncle A. No. These are all the same. You know, those evil Nazis really love the homosexuals. Adolf Hitler was known for that, right? He wasn't cursed on it and claimed that they were trying to exterminate all of the gay people in Europe. No.
People that are watering down radical Islam. People that are calling for mass amnesty. Which is...
How is that even related to any of those things? It's not woke right to call for amnesty for the illegals. No, it's just general expectations within a capitalist, liberal, representative democracy.
Essentially calling for to undo all of this united front against open borders and this immigration crisis. And yes, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are calling for that now. If we're going to just let all that in the door, how are we going to remain united against the left when that's what the left already is? We're just becoming the left.
The left are a bunch of fascists and racists. They're the real bigots, guys. He did the meme. Everyone should have seen it coming. It was inevitable.
That point. Are we not? Are we not? How does that make us any different? It also assumes that, like, evil is something that lives on a political spectrum. That evil's a leftist problem. That violence is a leftist problem. That totalitarianism and tyranny is a leftist problem.
Wait. Are you seriously here? Totalitarian and tyranny is a problem of the woke right, which doesn't have any governmental power in any way or form or shape? Yes, the tyrannical woke right taking over the government with nobody in office. And what about violence? What do you mean? Where's the mass rioting from the woke right? Those radical Nazis burning down every single city, town, or block they can in the name of George Floyd? You remember that guy? Who was rioting that? Who left the country with, what was it, like $2 billion of damage across the U.S. from the George Floyd riots? Are we just forgetting the events from 5 years ago to spin your little narrative that the woke right are the problem? They're equivalent to the radical left? Like, come on here, man. It's not even comparable in any shape or form.
That anti-constitutionalism is a leftist problem. that lacking human dignity and decency and viewing people as image bearers of God is only a leftist problem.
No. I think that's also a problem you have, Mikale. I think you have a problem with not recognizing people as being made in the image of God because you call everyone to the right of you a Nazi, KKK, fascist, racist. Like, come on here, man. You're already labeling them as being the worst, most evil, vindictive entity on the world from your understanding and your perspective of things. You're like, they're violent and evil, they're scum. They're literally Satan.
But it couldn't possibly exist anywhere on the right-wing spectrum. Think about how utterly foolish that is. We're seeing it happen. You know how many hordes of young men especially are getting swept up in overt Nazi philosophy, calling for the eradication of Jews, calling for white supremacy openly, which is ironic because doing that just makes the left look honest, because they've been calling us all Nazis, conservatives at large, dishonestly.
Wah! Dishonestly, they're calling us all a bunch of Nazis. Well there, Mikale. You are dishonestly claiming everyone to the right of you is now a fucking Nazi. Oh!
For years, and now there's people on the right and claiming a MAGA identity who are openly saying that that's true. That white people are superior, and America's a white-only country, and we need to kick everybody that's not Anglo-Saxon white out of the country. We're supposed to unite with that, Matt Walsh?
No. If you don't want to unite with them, that's fine. But the problem is, you're labeling everyone as that.
We're supposed to ignore that? How is that any different than the left?
How is that any different from the left? Oh my gosh. The left are the real fascist racist. Oh no. The left are calling for white supremacy in a white ethno-state. It's so fucking ridiculous, man. It's just like, dude, what do you mean? Why are you going this far, claiming everyone's such vile, disgusting scum that you can't even work with them? Because of this label that I just handed them, that the left has regularly handed me and my friends on the conservative right. Yeah. Great idea to use the left's own tactics, narratives, and, colloquial language.
It's not. That's the answer. And so when Matt Walsh preaches this Carl Schmitt garbage, this friend-enemy distinction garbage, which is what it is a pile of freaking garbage. He is opening up the floodgates. He is asking for this, to open up the floodgates for radicals to come into the conservative movement and ravage it from within, because the left's not going to defeat us. Every time they attack us, look at what they tried to do to Trump. He's a perfect example.
Look at what they tried to do to Trump. You mean try to assassinate him? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you referencing to 2016 when they sat there calling him Hitler, a Nazi, a fascist? Did you forget, though, that the Republicans were also calling him that in 2016? In 2015, when they were running for the 2016 election? Do you realize that, Mikale? That it wasn't just the left calling him, but it was also the right? So-called right.
Time they try and lobby gross and violent attacks against us, what does it do? Look at Charlie Kirk. They took him out.
He's dead, yeah.
That too.
Yeah. Charlie Kirk was killed, politically assassinated by a radical extreme leftist. Now, where is the radical right-winger, the woke writer, as you would put it, that did something similar as that? Because that's kind of a big deal.
Explosion in the conservative movement. Tens of thousands of new Turning Point conservative chapters around high schools and colleges, around the country. And
do you think the increased membership of people joining TPSA after Charlie Kirk was politically assassinated are going to be all like lukewarm, friendly, and be like, oh yes, the left are boopity-doo-dah, we're here to engage in democratic republicanism? No, they're probably a lot more radical and extreme, and it radicalized them, which is why they're getting involved with the organization who just had their leader politically assassinated.
In high schools and colleges. We get votes, we get popularity, we get all... They can't defeat us.
They can't defeat us.
Outside. What will defeat us is if we become them from within.
If we become them. If we become the left, then that's how the left will beat us. Well, there's a bit of a problem here, Mikale, that you're not really aware of because you're a dumbass. But the right was already becoming more like the left long before Charlie Kirk was politically assassinated. Such as gay marriage, American support for same-sex marriage. Look at that. Democrats, independents, Republicans. What's this? Over the years, the Republicans were up. And they were going up for their love for gay marriage to the point where the Republican Party became gay. Overwhelmingly gay. Over 50% supported gay marriage. But now, it's dropped down. It's almost like the radicals are getting more politically involved. It's almost like the radicals are playing a role in stemming back leftist influence on the right. It's not your general basic conservative that was stopping this. No, your general basic conservative in 2021 supported gay marriage. But now, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore, and your arguments that the woke right is going to turn us into the left absolutely get blown the fuck out and make no sense whatsoever. And this is where things get really nutty, because the puzzle pieces start fitting together. You're seeing it, hear me using this terminology, these language, and referencing people like Jordan B. Peterson, but we haven't gotten to his real king, his real E-Daddy, the man he worships the feet of and praises as the most brilliant intellectual of his generation.
Pragmatically stupid. It's so stupid.
Repeat.
Why would we let these people in?
He's just re-quoting Ben Shapiro from that other clip. He's just like, look at it. It's just pragmatically stupid. Ben Shapiro even said so. I'm not just like re-saying the same things he's saying over and over again. No. These are my own original ideas.
And why would we, as Matt Walsh does, attack the people like myself, like James Lindsay, like Joel Berry, like others?
James Lindsay! Why is Matt Walsh attacking James Lindsay, the man who created the term the woke right, the original author and intellectual of brilliant political theories? Yeah, James Lindsay. Great guy. He's leading the charge against the woke right. And it's really pragmatic to have someone like James Lindsay, of all people, within your right-wing movement, even though James Lindsay isn't right-wing. Like, come on here, man. Here's him arguing with Matt Walsh in 2019 about why amateur porn is freedom and it's really good. Look at this. Porn is great, guys. That's what you want from your right-wing representative. Wanting to ban the expression that falls afoul of someone's morals is a typical human trait not associated with any particular side, faith, or ideology. Liberalism is the hard road that keeps the authoritarian tendency in check. It sometimes sucks, and it's a safeguard for everyone. We need liberalism. Here's James Lindsay, 2019, arguing that we need more liberalism in here. But yes, we want to bring the liberalism into conservatism? Aren't they supposed to, like, be polar opposites of one another? And if you don't like that because it was from 2019 and he's a changed man now, here's 2024. The Constitution is liberal, and James Lindsay is a liberal who advocates for it. More porn tweets. Most porn, like most of anything else, is bad. But the rare good stuff is great. There's some real gems out there. And what's his favorite porn out there? Well, it seems to be step-family porn. Like, seriously, it cannot be a healthy sign of anything how much step-family porn is booming these days. People need to leave the house more and lose their social anxiety or something. Why are you looking up step porn? Why are you getting remotely even suggested on your porn sites that you use, James, to look at step porn? Could it be that you have stepchildren that you engage with sexual activities on? I voted for Clinton and was super proud to take my bisexual daughter with me on the occasions. What now? We checked out chicks' asses together, bonding with my child by discussing sexual activities to infantilize and encourage her homosexual tendencies. Yes, this is the man that we need to have on the right. James Lindsay, the real conservative, a real man of God? Or is he more of an atheist and someone who doesn't believe in Christ whatsoever? Christ is King, as it is declared, is a sophisticated and manipulative dialectal trap, like Black Lives Matter, and Christians are being baited into it by a few public figures and a band of antisocial troublemakers, likely led by a Fed. You can't say Christ is King because it's bad and racist and mean. It's also a piece of Christian doctrine and dogma that is recognized by literally everyone who's a Christian. Says Christ is King. He is the Messiah. No. We can't have that because James Lindsay is an atheist. A great thing about being a godless atheist is that when I get up in the morning and eat breakfast, I don't have to be grateful for any of it because I don't even have a basis for gratitude. So why waste the time and energy? Great. Here's another one. Him calling himself an atheist. I'm an atheist, guys. Come on. Well, now he claims he's not. I'm not gay, and I'm not even an atheist. Okay, what are you? Not a Christian. We know that for a fact still. So you're like a Gnostic? That's not accepted in Christianity. It's completely rejected as heresy, in fact. So it's probably even worse than being an atheist, saying you're being a heretic. And I have so much more dirt on this godless, materialistic heathen known as James Lindsay, but I'm going to save those bullets in my chamber, and we're going to continue on discussing the retardations of Mikale.
Why would we, as Matt Walsh does, attack the people like myself, like James Lindsay, like Joel Berry, like others, who've been warning about this festering problem on the right, trying to hold our own accountable, which is actually, frankly, brave. I'm not patting myself on the back. There's many other people that have
They're brave!
Way better than me.
They're brave heroes, brave souls. James Lindsay is brave? That's what we think about James Lindsay. We think about braveness, not pornography.
It's not brave to just say everything conservatives like when you're in exclusively conservative circles and just attack the left. It's brave to be in the conservative house, you could say, and point to problems in the conservative movement.
It's great for a liberal to come into the conservative house and point at the conservatives and say, hey, you're being too conservative. Stop doing that. You need to be more liberal, like me, James Lindsay. It's just brilliant stuff from this bozo. But why is he really mad? What's really ticked off Mikale here? What's really grinding his gears and motivating him to make endless amount of posts and videos complaining and bitching about Matt Walsh?
Matt Walsh says it's wrong for anybody to attack anybody on the right at this point in time. But yeah, he's constantly attacking me. I'm on the right.
He's attacking me and I'm on the right. I support James Lindsay.
Right? Matt Walsh says that if you have a problem with someone in the Conservative Party, you should just DM them privately, and if you don't, you're a bitch.
Bitch.
If you talk about it publicly. But yeah, he's constantly publicly rebuking people like me.
Oh, poor baby.
There's this double standard.
There is this double standard. There is actually this really funny, ironic double standard because we have access to all of those tweets and information that Mikale here is referencing. Brilliant stuff. I hope he didn't get his story wrong, right? I'm sure he told the truth about why Matt Walsh was rebuking him, right? It's because he did it to himself. He was complaining about Matt Walsh, and Matt Walsh merely responded and slapped his ass down. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the godless right. Jordan B. Peterson was right all along. And he's quoting Matt Walsh. Yeah, he's calling him Matt Walsh godless. Godless because he told this lady to go fuck herself for disagreeing with him. Yeah. So yeah, no shit, Matt Walsh is going to respond and say, he accused me of pearl clutching about threats against me and my children. I stand by my response. You cut out context because you're a dishonest and deceitful person, and in the end, far more ruthless and vindictive than the right-wingers you preferred to be so scandalized by. You pretend to be so scandalous. True, nailed it. Nailed him right there. Beat him across the head. Smoked him out on that response. He's just like, you're a fucking hypocrite and a lying piece of shit. And you're doing a really dishonest tactic that I can call out right here knowingly because you're such a bozo. Yeah. Genius stuff from Mikale. Genius stuff from Mikale. So that really hurt Mikale's feelings, if you can imagine, that Matt would rebuke him so much, so heavily, because that's just it. There's a reason why. That's not the reason why he's acting like a jilted ex-girlfriend or lover. No, it's because Matt Walsh rebuked him while also being his e-daddy for his entire life. Oh, did that tweet get deleted? And it wasn't deleted. But he did block me. I literally haven't said anything to him in days to avoid getting blocked. And he decided days ago, since I responded or said anything mean about him or to him, he blocked me. Here it is. Here's a direct message I sent to Matt Walsh about a month ago, lest some people continue to try and accuse me of being some unhinged leftist who just has it out for Matt. Appreciate this, Matt. I haven't agreed with you on some things lately, but I've appreciated your voice out of here since I was a child in high school. And as a fellow conservative, I'm with you on this. The left is truly evil, and I pray every day they are brought to justice by God's grace. Oh, I love you, man. I loved you all my time. Please respond, cuddle your child. Oh, I love you, my e-daddy. And guess what? Matt Walsh didn't respond. Why would he? You're just some bum scrub who watches him online. They're not gonna read every single fucking DM they get on the internet. They would have no time for anything else or making their content or taking care of their family. But no, this really jilted him that he was left on red. He was left on red on his DM to him, and Matt didn't want anything to do with him. So he threw a little hissy fit, and he's gone to internet war, waging internet combat against Matt Walsh and the woke right, just like his brave leader, James Lindsay. And that's where we get into this. We know his crowd, we know his interests, now we know his past, that he was watched him since he was a child. But what are some of the things that he doesn't know about on the right? Because clearly, there's a lot of them saying he thinks everybody to the right of him is a fucking Nazi.
If we're going to call for unity on the right, it does no good to do so unless we're going to name names.
Name them.
So I would ask Matt Walsh, or anyone saying what Matt Walsh is saying, who do you think we as conservatives are not properly unifying with that we apparently are supposed to be unifying with? Who? I've asked Matt Walsh that question.
Who? You should know already. You watched his show since you were a child because you're a fanatic fan of his and a really booty blast about his recent takes and opinions. You should obviously know that Matt regularly gets in squabbles with people like Bap and the Babylonians and argues with them on his show and makes videos about them.
This is very offensive to a lot of people on X. A prominent account that goes by the handle Bronze Age Pervert responded in a way that I think kind of captures the general attitude of the other side of this argument. He wrote,
like who? It's not like Matt's named names before of people he has squabbles with who are on the far fringe of the right.
Numerous times he refuses to answer it. He has yet to name a single name anytime he's called for unity. Candace Owens? Nick Fuentes? The Griper Movement? Dan Bilzerian? Stu Peters? Who? Who are we not unifying?
Who? Is it the Goipers, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Stu Peters? You do realize there's a lot more people out there than just Twitter Indian bots. You know, there's a lot more people out there on the far fringe of the right than those three you just named there. Like, come on, man. Are you really saying the far fringe of the right, the entirety of it is groypers? Everybody's a groyper? Either you're a groyper or you're a Daily Wire watcher. That is his understanding of the world. That's who he knows. No, he can't name off all the other figures and representatives out there who represent on the far fringe of the right. I mean, there's a lot of other tradcaths out there that aren't groypers and don't particularly like groypers, and they're on the far fringe of the side, so it could be them. Or there's the orthobro community, and the orthobrodoxy, and the Crucible crew, and Jay Dyer and all of their gang. So there's all of them. And then you also have people who are Protestants. You have radical evangelicals who are calling the Catholic Church literally Satan and the devil. Like, come on, you have all of them also that aren't fitting within your crowd. Or you also have people who are Southern Baptists, like Steven Anderson, a man that's been there for around, and then you have all of their radical opinions and take. Or there's even the Lutherans, like Stone Choir Club, and all of them. And then within the U.S., you also have the dudes who run the Old Glory Hole Club. You have American Renaissance. Obviously, I mentioned Babylon, the Babylonians and whatnot. And there's other pagans out there that aren't Babylonians and don't agree with the Babylonians, like Adam Green and his Antichrist crusade that he's waging. Or then you also have the people who think Jesus Christ is Aryan Superman Jesus, like Rosenberg taught in his Rosenberg mythos, like Arvel in his little community that Ashaloga set up. So you have them out there. Then you also have just drama muckbreakers, you know? You have all these different people, like the people on the Kiwi farms, or, you know, the drama or Keemstar. Keemstar is also right-wing, fun fact, even though he's from New York. He, I guess, is right-wing by New York standards, but he fits within that puddle. Or, you know, you have Mr. Medicare, the Ralpha males, Lolbertarian streamers, and people out there who have their channel. There's a huge Lolbert community out there that I guess is considered on the right in some regards. I don't necessarily agree, but like Fabian Liberty, Dave Smith, or Nick Ricada. And then you also have other law tubers besides Nick who doesn't stream or do that anymore. And then there's also the manosphere. Those people, a lot of them are considered on the right, too. And then just flat-out gamers. Just people who play games like Asmongold. He'd fit within this category, too, that Matt is calling for unity. You know, and even Patriot Front. People who are not online, but are doing things in real life and physical. But no, we can't unite with all of these people because according to the political strategist genius who goes by his real name, Mikale Olson, all of these radicals on the right that aren't within the scope of the Daily Wire plantation are KKK, Nazi, fascist Klansmen. Oh, really riveting stuff from the man who's been a Daily Wire cotton picker since he was a child in high school. Yeah, you're the guy we should trust and listen to on these matters.
With that we ought to be unifying with. Mitch McConnell? Lindsey Graham? Liz Cheney? George Bush? Dick Cheney? Who? Who are you talking about? Name some names, Matt Walsh, or anybody else parroting this. And I think the reason, and the answer is self-evident due to the fact that names are not being named. We know who he's talking about. He's talking about the crazies.
He's talking about the
crazy. He's talking about the Groyper movement. He's talking about the Nick Fuenteses of the conservative movement.
Nobody else. Just Groypers.
Of the right-wing movement, I should say. He's talking about Candace Owens.
I think you have Groyper derangement syndrome on your mind, man. I think you have a few too many Indian spam bots harassing you and heckling you on their alts.
He's talking about Tucker Carlson. But here's my answer, and here's my answer to that, Matt Walsh. They have broken first principles. They broke the contract.
They broke
of what it means to be on our team, if we're going to think of it in those terms. Which I don't think we should think of it in those terms tribalistically or politically. I think our allegiance should be not left versus right, but good versus evil.
Yep, they're evil. All these people on the right, all those people I named, they're all just evil scum and vile and Satanists. Yep, all of them.
Right versus wrong. True versus false.
We're the right.
We think in those terms, we're not going to fall prey to this Carl Schmitt friend-enemy distinction thing that's going to destroy our movement.
No, we're gonna listen to the philosophy of James Lindsay, a porn addict who cheats on his wife.
It's really that simple. It's really that simple. And so these people
really
have
that
broken
simple.
first principles. They've defiled what it means to be a right-wing conservative.
Which ones? Which ones? Which of the 4 principles that you listed did all those people break? Did everyone on the radical right break? That you can't align with them in whatever way possible? That you don't like them because they're on the radical right? The second one you gave us? Yeah.
They're telling us to embrace all sorts of horrible philosophy that is contrary to everything we've said we've stood for years.
But the philosophy of Jordan B. Peterson and James Lindsay most certainly doesn't contradict Christianity in whatever way or form, right?
And Matt Walsh, I'm sure, knows this, but he's a coward, and he doesn't want to say anything about it, and he doesn't want to name any names, because I think he knows he's going to get a whole bunch of backlash if he does, and he's going to lose some audience.
Like me. He's gonna lose audience members and people like me who've watched him since high school. Oh, so poor Matt Walsh. He lost you. What a shame. You're such an ally, such an important thing in Matt Walsh's life. It's just really creepy. It's parasocial, one might say. He's just having this little parasocial fit and frustration and hissy fit that he's just like, you know what? You lost me, Matt. You lost me. Now I'm one of your haters. Now I'm one of your trolls because you didn't agree with my political stance because I am now watching James Lindsay and Jordan Peterson more. They're my new E-daddies. You can no longer be my E-daddy.
But I'm hoping that you're at least starting to think about this, and I'm hoping this is encouraging you to be a little bit more discerning. Be a little bit more discerning. Political victory is not everything. Sacred honor is what it's called. Means way more. Especially if you call yourself a Christian. I think we've made an idol out of political power in this country. And I understand it to some degree because we've been so beat down by the left.
Yeah.
There's a lot of especially young men that are angry, that have become bitter and resentful as a result, and that are looking for someone or something to take that anger out on.
Yeah, they're just angry and they're looking for somebody to take it out on. You know, they're not witnessing it firsthand, the many things that the left has been doing it. No, they didn't witness Charlie Kirk's political assassination. No, they haven't witnessed and experienced the many mass shootings the left has been doing at like Annunciation and other schools and places. No, or even crime. No, they're not paying attention or being affected by mass crime in these metropolitan areas ran by the left. No, it's not their experiences that are deciding them to have a really negative attitude and outlook on the left. No, it's not the ICE riots going on right now and all the left are throwing hissy fits because illegals are getting deported actually by force. No, it's not the sanctuary cities where all this crime is that the protests are happening and the entire like metropolitan areas are revolting against the federal government in the name of liberalism. No, it can't be the left's actions that are making people decide it. You know, it's just, that's insane.
And extremes on the right are giving them that outlet. And Matt Walsh, instead of being the mature, responsible Christian that's going to lead men, as Jordan Peterson tries to do, into responsibility, he's leading them into victimhood.
You're siding over Matt Walsh with Jordan Peterson. You even acknowledge that Matt Walsh is a Christian, but you're like, but you know what, Matt Walsh? You're a Catholic, so I really don't like you, and you're leading people astray. Look at Jordan Peterson. He's leading people to the truth, the light. What do you mean? Jordan Peterson spent his entire life directing people away from the light, the way, and the truth known as Jesus Christ. He was a philosophy professor who subverted the youth to follow his own path of enlightenment. You know, he taught the truth in his class with his lessons about what is truth. What are the things that matter? But you know what? Mikale, there's a quote that I want to give you from Scripture. That's from 2 Corinthians 2:8. And it's, "Don't let anyone lead you astray with an empty philosophy and high-sounding nonsense that come from human thinking and from evil powers of this world, and not from Christ. For in Christ the fullness of God lives in a human body, and you are complete through your union with Christ. He is the Lord over every ruler and the authority in the universe." Yeah, that's what Christianity teaches. It teaches you not to follow the doctrine of man and their own personal philosophies. It's just like, no, you need to follow Christ. Jordan Peterson isn't a Christian. Jordan Peterson is a pill-popping false prophet that went from preaching the good news of atheism in his early days to bastardizing the lessons of Christ for his own sick pleasures of making money. So, no shit, we shouldn't be listening to him, unlike you.
And to think it's okay. It's okay. It's like revoice for Nazis. It's seeker sensitivity for the Nazi movement on the right. That's what's happening politically with people like Matt Walsh. Whether he's part of these, whether he agrees with these people or not, it doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter. Whether he agrees or not, it doesn't matter. He's still just a Nazi. He's just like them because he's advocating for unifying with them. So I've declared war against him, and I'm going to troll him till the end of his days.
He's stroking their ego. It's okay. We can unite with you over here. It's okay.
You stroke
It's
James
okay to be a
Lindsay's
Nazi.
ego.
You're just angry at the left. I understand.
I understand. You're all like Nazis and bad. And because I'm calling you a Nazi, that means you want to destroy democracy, like the left claims. And you claimed.
Grow up.
Grow up!
That's a one-way ticket to destruction. That's a one-way ticket, and ironically speaking, to ensuring the left wins every election. Because now, again, you're just making the left look honest.
Oh, no. Oh, no. The left are
going
going
to
look
accuse us
honest?
of being Nazis? Well, guess what? You're stroking the ego of actual Nazis over here, and that's going to grow. And now they're going to have real proof that there's Nazis on the right. Oh, my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. For real here. It's like, you're going to have real proof, and you're going to prove the left that they're not a bunch of lying sacks of shit. Even though everyone on the right recognizes them that they are. And you know what? This is the third time that Mikale has made this same complaint, that by working with anyone on the radical right, you are proving the left's complaints that the right are a bunch of Nazis. Mikale, do you know who actually cares about what the left has to say about the right? Liberals. Do you know who actually cares about being called a Nazi by a perverted blue-haired gender blender? Liberals. Do you know who actually calls people on the right Nazis? Liberals. Mikale, do you not see how your complaints and mannerisms throughout this entire video were very, very liberal? And, you know, Mikale started it in the beginning of the video that he was claiming he's a constitutional, conservative Christian. But he couldn't even list Christendom as one of his first principles that you must follow to be on the right. Because if he did include Christianity as a requirement for a first principle for his own little brand of conservatism that he's manufacturing, it would exclude his precious E-daddies, Jordan B. Peterson and James Lindsay. So he didn't want to exclude his intellectual liberal philosophers who are right-wing. You know, he wanted to include them. He wanted an open tent party for all the atheists, all the Gnostics, all the non-believers. You might as well just join the Freemason cult at this point, you know? Because your first principles that you listed here are no different from your average Gnostic or your average Freemason. Saying that the Constitution is important is one of them, that Nazis are bad, and everyone on the far right that don't agree with us are bad and we can't work with them. And second of the first principles, and you said truth-seeking. To be a right-wing conservative, you have to be a truth-seeker, as are one of our principles. And then the last one was following your first principles is our principle. It's a little bit circular, but you can't really expect much from this guy here. Mikale doesn't actually want to conserve Christianity, obviously. It's clear throughout this entire video. He couldn't label it as one of his first principles. He just wants to conserve the status quo because he is a liberal and a woke joke. In the next few years, I wouldn't be surprised or shocked by any means if Mikale switched from being Mikale to Mikala, because this twink ass already has the hairline and the testosterone levels of an axe-wounded abomination. For real, am I lying here? Is I lying that he's a bit more phaser-pilled than I thought? He would fit really in with the rest of the left, having all these same beliefs, calling everyone on the right a bunch of Nazis, fascist, and scum. I'm sure James Lindsay would be more than happy to fuck him in the ass after the matter, because he already fucked with his mind. People like Mikale are why we need to unite the right, to turn back the liberalization of the conservative right. So all of you out there, you can either get on board and unite the right, or we will cut you loose like the cock cutter that you are. So I've been the King's Fool, and I hope you all have a good one.